It's Michelle Silverman Bedell from Silver Sense Realty.
And I'm Mike Levine with the Carbon team at Cross Country Mortgage.
Okay, and today I invited Michael to join us because we want to discuss the pre-approval process and really what goes into working on a pre-approval and what the buyer needs. So, I'll start by just saying that when I first meet with a client, one of the first things I ask if they've been working with a mortgage broker or a banker, and really to discuss the need for them to obtain a pre-approval, because I cannot submit an offer today without a pre-approval or without proof of funds. So I'll let Michael speak about what goes into the pre-approval process.
Well, first off, thanks for inviting me, Michelle, today.
My pleasure.
So, with regards to the pre-approval process, the first thing that I want to do is do some fact-finding and just build a rapport and just ask a couple of questions so I can kind of see what the potential buyer or buyer's needs are. And once we do that, I'll explain to them the pre-approval process, and it's pretty streamlined. It's a matter of just asking them some questions so I have an idea of what they're looking to accomplish. And then I will email them a link so they can apply. It takes maybe 10 minutes just to go through the application. It's pretty simple, and they can upload any documents we need while they're filling out that application.
Right.
Then from there, I will get an email once they complete the application. I will go in, and I have 23 years experience as a loan officer, so I kind of consider myself an underwriter. So once I kind of look at everything, we would do a soft credit pull, which does not affect the credit score at all. That's one of the questions I get asked all the time. And I will review all the documents, and we will issue a pre-approval letter if everything is looking good, and we'll set up a follow-up call to kind of answer any questions that they have.
Okay, so what kind of documents are you requesting from the buyer, the potential buyer?
So it depends on their employment. So if they are like a W-2 type of employee,
right,
we would just need their last 2 years W-2s,
okay,
most recent pay stub,
okay,
and then the most recent 1 month of assets, checking, savings, any retirement accounts they're going to use, as well as an ID.
okay.
If they're self-employed though, then we're going to need the last 1 year of tax returns if they've
right,
had their business for at least 5 years.
okay.
And if it's under 5 years, then the last 2 years of complete tax returns, personal as well as business.
Okay, and if the buyer is obtaining money from a parent or a gift, I would assume they have to document that as well.
So typically just with the pre-approval process, we will ask that question, especially if they're going to be short funds to close. And we do not need the gift to be processed during the pre-approval process, but we do want to have that conversation, just kind of get all those monies in order,
Right.
and at least get an idea of the amount and make sure they're going to get that gift letter.
Okay, now today, it's still a very competitive market. It's still a seller's market in most areas, in most communities. And so very, very often that there are a lot of cash offers. So how does somebody compete with cash? If they're getting a mortgage, how do they compete with cash?
So that's a great question. And there's definitely a lot of frustration out there with buyers, especially this being and still being a seller's market.
Right.
So one of the great things that we do, and we do pretty often, is we have what's called a fast track approval.
Right.
So it takes that pre-approval and it takes it to the next level. And what that next level basically is we're going to take all the documents that are necessary to submit a loan to underwriting,
Right.
to get approved. And we're going to do that as if they have a contract to buy a house. It'll go to underwriting, and the underwriter will come back with a commitment letter.
Right.
And typically the only conditions are going to be an appraisal and the title insurance report. So that's going to compete with any cash offers, and it's going to give any buyers a leg up over people who are getting an actual mortgage.
Oh, just a straight pre-approval, right? It'll be it's much more guaranteed because you've done a lot more legwork on the back end rather than just submitting a regular pre-approval, right? The fast track, I would assume.
Correct. So
Okay.
the fast track pre-approval is they're almost going to be at that finish line.
Correct, okay.
And yeah, so it's going to compete with cash offers, and you know, again, like once they find a property, I mean, they're really going to be very close to closing. Like I said, we probably just have to order an appraisal and have the attorney order the title insurance report,
Okay.
and that's it.
Okay, so, on, just generally, how long will it take you from the beginning to the end, from a normal process to close? Is it 45 days, can you do it in 30 days? Because people today, especially if they're competing against a cash offer, they usually can close very quickly. Can your bank can you do that as well?
Yes, that's a great question as well. So if it's a fast track approval, I mean, they're literally going to close as soon as we have the title insurance report in.
Okay.
Appraisals typically take 5 to 7 business days.
All right,
If they're going from the beginning of the process, just a regular pre-approval, to the finish line, I mean, we've had loans closed, or ready to close in 3 weeks. Typically, we ask for 30 days, but it shouldn't take any longer than that unless there's a delay with getting the title insurance report.
okay, and one other question. You also lend in co-ops and condominiums? Well, condos for sure, but co-ops?
Yes, we actually do a lot of co-ops. We're pretty efficient with the co-ops, and I have a great team that works with the management companies to kind of streamline that process.
Okay, great. Well, Michael, I really want to thank you for coming, and hopefully we can meet again and discuss a different topic in the mortgage process. And have a good week, everybody. And if you have any questions, you can call either myself, Michelle Silverman-Bedell,
Or Mike
Michael,
Levine.
and we'll be happy to answer your questions. Have a great day.